Hello everyone, today we are going back into another Mondstadt character, one of Frontline and a younger brother of one of the NPC Knights of Favonius, and is well known with maps and wants to be a choreographer expert in his future. That is Mika, so let's begin. Mika Schmidt is a playable cryo character in Genshin Impact. Huffman's younger brother and the frontline surveyor of the Knights of Favonius reconnaissance company led by Yulia, Mika delightfully fulfills all of his tasks efficiently and dreams of becoming an expert choreographer in the future. In spite of his shyness towards other people, he eventually warms up to those close to him as he values teamwork immensely and desires learning from his colleagues. Mika is a 4-star male character. He uses a polearm as a weapon, as well as a crossbow. His vision is cryo. His full name is Mika Schmidt, and his birthday is August 11th. His constellation is Columbus, and he's from the region of Mondstadt, and has affiliation with the Knights of Favonius. His special dish is Surveyor's Breakfast Sandwich, which is a variant of the Adventurer's Breakfast Sandwich. Mika became a playable character on March 21st, 2023. The 4 voice actors of the Shy Navigator to the front lines in the 4 localizations of Genshin Impact are Rob Morera in English, Deng Yuxi in Chinese, Senpai Yuko in Japanese, Yoon Un Seo in Korean. Mika goes by 2 titles, which are Coordinates of Clear Frost and Frontline Surveyor of the Knights of Favonius. Mika uses the medium male model. He has fair skin, blue eyes, and curled golden hair that sticks out in irregular tufts and is golden brown at the tips. The default outfit he wears is called Soaring Beacon. Mika's outfit consists of a blue jacket which laps and rolls up sleeves worn over a white hoodie with blue details, and a yellow necktie decorated with white details and pinned at the top with a blue gem. Over this, he wears a large belt-like garment crossing over his torso, along with a small brown buckled book bag decorated with a blue and yellow plume. He wears a pair of cuffed white shorts with silver details, thick gray socks, oversized brown boots, with spears and navy gloves with silver plating. Mika's outfit is adorned with pins and other silver details, such as a large shield-like ornament on the right side of his chest, with a blue feather attached to 2 long pieces of fabric dangled from behind his jacket decorated at the end with silver ornaments. His cryovision is attached to a plate on his right glove. The ornament of his outfit can also grow when Mika's elemental burst is ready. The small light blue diamond-shaped gem at the top of his tie will glow along with his vision. The outfit Soaring Beacon is described as this night outfit, especially designed for fieldwork, is made using a vast multiple of flexible but tough materials, adding plenty of places for the wearer to store his weapons and tools. Dressed and prepared, fortune is certain to stride alongside the wearer of this outfit with each step into the unknown. The outfit can be unlocked once you obtain the character. Seemingly shy and distant at first, Mika eventually warms up to the people he knows. To those unfamiliar to him, especially those with high rankings, Mika prefers to observe them and understand their personalities before properly interacting with them as a sign of respect. He does seem to rely on other people for decisions such as when to talk or what to say. Spear of Favonius Arrow's Passage is Mika's normal attack. The normal attack performs up to 5 constructed strikes using his crossbow and spear, while the charge attack consumes a certain amount of stamina to launch forward, dealing damage to opponents along the way, and finally, the plunging attack plunges from midair to strike the ground below, damaging opponents along the path and dealing AoE damage upon impact. Starfrost Swirl is Mika's elemental skill. Mika uses his crossbow to attack, gaining all nearby characters in your party Soul Wind. When characters in the Soul Wind state are on the field, their ATK SPD will be increased. The will take effect in different ways if tapped or held. Using tap, it fires a frost flow arrow that can pierce through opponents, dealing cryo damage to enemies it comes into contact with. With hold, it goes into aiming mode, locking on the opponent and firing a Ramstar flare at them, dealing cryo damage. When the Ramstar flare hits, it will rise before exploding, launching Ramstar shards into a maximum of 3 other opponents, dealing cryo damage. Skyfetter's Song is Mika's elemental burst. It drives the ability to spur his teammates on from the recited players of the Knightly Order, regenerating HP for all nearby party members. This healing is based on Mika's max HP and will grant them an Eagle Plume state. With the Eagle Plume state, when the normal attacks of active characters affected by Eagle Plume hit the opponent, Mika will help them regenerate HP based on his max HP. Characters affected by this state can only regenerate HP in the way once per shot interval of time. Suppressive Barrage is Mika's first Ascension passive skill. Per the following circumstances, the Soul Wind state caused by Starfrost will grant characters the Detector effect, increasing their physical damage by 10% when they are on the field. 2 of the effects, Flow Frost Arrow and Ramstar Shard, will do this under this passive skill. If the Flow Frost Arrow hits an opponent on one, each additional opponent will generate 1 detector stack, and when a Ramstar Shard hits an opponent, it will generate 1 detector stack. Each Ramstar Shard can trigger the effect 1 time. The Soul Wind state can have a maximum of 3 detector stacks, and if Starfrost Swirl is cast again during this duration, the pre-existing Soul Wind state and all its detector stacks will be cleared. Topographical Mapping is Mika's 4th Ascension passive skill. When an active character affected by both Skyfetter's Songs, Eagle Plume, and Starfrost Swirl's Soul Wind at once scores a crit hit with their attacks, Soul Wind will gain them 1 stack of Detector from Suppressive Barrage. During a single instance of Soul Wind, 1 detector stack can be gained in this manner. Additionally, the maximum number of stacks can be gained through Soul Wind alone increased by 1, and the required Suppressive Barrage to be unlocked first. Demarcation is Mika's utility passive skill. It displays the location of nearby resources unique to Mondstadt on the minimap. Whenever he shows up at the Knights of Favonius headquarters, Mika always swiftly finishes any discussions to be had with his fellow knights, then quietly slips away to avoid becoming a hindrance to others' work. Mika always gets nervous when someone strikes up a conversation with him, frantically scrambling away right after politely putting an end to the idle chatter. The knights know that the young man's name is Mika, and that he is Huffman's younger brother and the second son of the Schmidt family. They also know that he is a member of the Reconnaissance Company, but nothing much beyond that. Few are aware of what Mika's job entails, nor do they know that the widely promoted updated version of their military map is the fruit of his labors. The new map consists of detailed strategical data regarding almost every corner of Mondstadt with particular markers indicating road condition areas with highlighted monster activity, high ground that can serve as temporary strongholds, and the distribution of natural resources. The amount of detail could almost make our head spin. All of this is the result of Mika's own labor throughout the 2 years he has spent traveling across Mondstadt and investigating every inch of terrain he set foot on. Knights who have fought alongside Mika know that he finds using both lance and crossbow at the same time for most confident, and his unique fighting style has left a lasting impression. However, they have also been solemnly warned by Mika to never speak of him to others unless absolutely necessary. Mika's terrified of drawing the attention of others. He'll get nervous if you so much as stare at him. To say nothing of showing him with compliments, he's been a great asset to the Knights and helped us out a lot. So respecting his boundaries is the least we can do as seniors. Mika comes from a loving family. His mother works as an author, writing about local conditions. His father is a retired Knight of Favonius, and his older brother Huffman is a current member of the Knight's rank. Mika began learning to read. His mother went inspiration gathering abroad, with his father accompanying her. During that time, the responsibility of looking after little Mika landed in Huffman's hands. However, Huffman had already made the Knights of Favonius his second home. He was preoccupied with work during the day and indulged in drinking with his friends night after night. With his own life lacking organization, how was he expected to take care of his little brother? So it was little Mika who learned to take care of both himself and his brother whenever he returned home drunk at night. When other children his age were enjoying their childhood without a care, Mika had already learned to stick to an organized schedule, sometimes even helping Huffman with his everyday chores. While they were away, Mika's parents always made sure to send a letter back to Mondstadt every week to keep their children from worrying. Mika's mother, being an excellent writer, could somehow describe the scenery she's seen in a mesmerizing way, akin to fairy tales. Mika loved to read his parents' letters before looking for their exact location and making out their travel route on a map. Picturing his parents' wonderful adventures was Mika's favorite pastime. Before long, Mika developed a passion for reading maps and even committed to terrain of many locations to memory. Unfortunately, Huffman had to ruin the mood when he broke the bad news to Mika. "I'm afraid your efforts have been wasted on the map Mom and Dad left us. It's very outdated and it wasn't very accurately drawn in the first place." But that was to be expected. After all, those who with the ability freely explore the wilderness would likely have all become adventurers with nothing but commissions and more on their minds. To them, just about any map would do. On the other hand, most of those who knew how to draw decent maps were not skilled in combat, so it would be much too dangerous for them to survey the wilderness themselves. Not to mention their limited income, which wouldn't allow them to afford bodyguards. Perhaps the time would come when the Knights of Favonius finally had a sufficient budget to hire experts to deal with matters like these. But with Mondstadt as peaceful and as one could hope for, no one knew for sure when something as trivial as cartography could be put to the schedule. So little Mika thought to himself, if he could reach every corner of the world just like his parents and recorded every detail of the terrain beneath his feet, that would be the most fun ever. From then on, Mika set a clear goal for himself. I'll become Mondstadt's expert choreographer. When Mika's parents returned to Mondstadt, they were delighted to hear Mika's newfound goal and promised to do whatever they could to support him. From that day on, Mika dedicated most of his time to poring over geography books and assiduously honing his drawing skills in the library. Lisa took a liking to his polite, gifted yet hard-working child and often recommended books to him, guiding him towards the most efficient path. After some time, Mika gained Lisa's recognition. With your current skills and abilities, you just might qualify for studying at the academia. It was then that Mika began looking for opportunities to put his knowledge to the test. As it happens, Elon Musk, whom he had gotten acquainted with while studying at the library, happened to be looking for a guide for a language exchange trip to the secluded wilderness. And that became Mika's first field expedition, though they did safely arrive at the destination due to the error in Elon Musk's word choice. The pair ended up getting beaten by hilichurls. Mika concluded that the setback was due to his lack of combat prowess. I need to learn how to protect myself, he thought, or I won't be able to guarantee the success of my expeditions to unfamiliar areas. Therefore, Mika wrote the mononym from this time spent learning in the library and began to learn fighting techniques from his brother. Luckily, Mika had a strong condition and quickly grasped the basics. It happened that the Knights of Favonius had just drafted their plan for an expedition set to depart 3 years later. They were still looking to recruit a few more members to fill some positions, and frontline surveyor was among the open spots. This role had strict prerequisites. Those applying for the position should have some level of experience in cartography, and due to potential danger conditions, they would be leading the team from the front lines, making combat skills a must. This was Mika's chance, but it all felt too much like a dream. Mika initially believed that he would be invited into the team as an extra concept, but the position for frontline surveyor would no doubt make him a full-fledged member of the expedition, and one crucial to the entire team. He was daunted by the thought at first, afraid that he wasn't worthy of such an important role that, according to him, only the strongest would qualify for. His doubts were soon displaced by his father and his brother's encouragement, and he remembers their words to this day. You don't have to ask too much of yourself. Doing your best to help will be more than enough. Most of the knights are just ordinary people like us, but once we put our strengths together as a team, even the strongest of adventurers would struggle to prove our equal. Thus, Mika seized the opportunity and signed up for the position. He felt reassured that he would at least be deciding his time to what he loved. Word of Mika signing up for the expedition spread like wildfire throughout the Knights of Favonius. Huffman's little brother will be joining us? The little kid who always takes care of that drunkard will be joining the Knights. The anxiety from unexpectedly becoming the center of attention made his breaths quicken and his heart pounded. Mika was afraid of failing the Knights' assignment and disgracing his father, ruining his brother's career, or worse, ruining the reputation of his family name. Considering that many members of the Smith family had already joined their ranks, the Knights of Favonius decided to raise the bar for entry and make the whole assignment process public in order to make the selection as fair as possible. Taking real-life scenarios into consideration, lead examiner Kaya came up with a series of challenges that strictly assessed the participants' abilities. Hacking up Dragon's spine while wearing full armor and carrying a heavy load, mapping out a monster-infested region without the aid of any reference material. Luckily, Mika came well prepared and gave it his all, eventually passing the most difficult challenge and becoming one of the 3 successful candidates. The other two candidates had both received Mika's aid along the way as well. To him, they were more like future teammates and companions in any case. Mika's excellent expedition of teamwork gained the recognition of Grandmaster Varka, who coordinated the two other new recruits to the cavalry company and investigation team, while personally taking Mika in to go with him on his expedition. Every week, Varka would teach Mika combat techniques and give him assorted homework to complete. Mika would later join the reconnaissance company, communicating with the rather unusual captain, further strengthen his communication skills, which would help him greatly with working with the elite knights of the expedition team. After joining the knights, Mika honored his cartography skills while investigating dangerous locations as a frontline surveyor, while receiving pointers on how he might improve in his other skills from Varka. The delight young recruit quickly became a calm and reliable knight, though it seems as though he has yet to realize that himself. As Mika continuously refined his skills in real-life combat, he became a core member of the reconnaissance company in less than 2 years, completing countless missions alongside his teammates. The scheduled date drew near, and the expedition team was soon about to depart. At the send-off party, Grandmaster Varka was pleasantly surprised by the shiny new vision on Mika's right wrist. But after personally inviting Mika to spar, he concluded that Mika's current abilities were remarkable but far from enough. Mika didn't figure out what that meant until the expedition team entered a dangerous restricted area, where he finally saw with his own eyes the monsters Grandmaster Varka had used as reference when judging his powers. Those unable, wandering creatures could become a nightmare for any knight unfortunate enough to stray away from the team. The speed of their scouts in the vanguard determined how fast the whole expedition team proceeded, so during the days when the team was the bruises, Mika could only rest for half an hour a day. It was Mika's first time working under such high pressure, and he did so with great difficulty. Not to mention that apart from dangers of the unknown, the expedition team was under the watchful gaze of another party. One day when Mika was getting ready to call it in a night, he received a warning from another scout that the knights had encountered enemies. When Mika hurried on scene, Varka had already drawn up battle lines with his trustworthy subordinates. In the depths of the pitch-dark night, Mika could vaguely make out a line of soldiers, slightly standing there as if they were lifeless war machines. And right in the middle of the enemy formation was a dark, distinct silhouette. Even though torches lit in the area, Mika could see nothing but their eerie, dark blue eyes that seemed to glow with an uncanny aura. At his teammates' reminder, Mika learned of their identity. The Fatui Harbinger known as the captain and his direct elite subordinates. As it turned out, the vanguard had bumped into Fatui scouts, and an altercation had ensued, resulting in both sides getting jumpy and continuously requesting reinforcements, eventually alerting their respective commanders. The scent of gunpowder was thick in the air, and the scent of crisis turned Mika's limbs numb and cold. He couldn't help visualizing the confrontation escalating into an armed conflict and what he should do if such a thing were to happen. The Harbinger in particular, Mika knew that he would be utterly helpless to parry a single half-hearted swipe from this person. His jumbled thoughts and exhaustion made it difficult to breathe or focus. Varka, however, seemed completely unfazed. He greeted the Harbinger from afar and walked towards him with his weapon in hand. The captain, too, signaled his men to stand by as he began slowly stepping forward. As the tension between the two parties reached its peak, Varka and the captain briefly converged and seemed to reach an agreement. The dark silhouette raised his arms, and the ghostly shadows of the Fatui soldiers silently turned and departed with him. The knights all heaved a sigh of relief, and some were even trembling with fear. But when Varka returned to the knight's formation, he looked at it as relaxed as ever. Well, that was a surprise. If it weren't for our unique circumstances, I would have loved to invite him for a duel. And it's not like he's a stubborn fellow. He's well aware that engaging in battle in a strange and foreign land would have been disadvantage for both of us. It was until then that Mika realized that they had been on the precipice of war, and yet the Grand Master had been there to put a stop to the conflict. The captain's overpowering presence and the calmness with which Grandmaster Varka handled the crisis both left a profound impression in Mika's mind. Mika reflected on his experience for a long time and concluded that although he had been improving in strength, he still had a long way to go when it concluded to dealing with situations like that. There was more to be done than just doing his best to help the team. He had to work harder to become a reliable knight who could handle all manner of incidents. Fortunately, Mika would not run into anything expectantly dangerous during the expedition and smoothly made it past the most difficult period. During Mondstadt's Weinliesfest, Mika returned to Mondstadt with Grandmaster Varka's letter and resumed his post in the reconnaissance company. The members of the reconnaissance company were both excited at his return and surprised at the astonishing progress he had made, for he could now easily complete tasks that easily required 3 or 4 scouts. In considering that the Grand Master's letter had vaguely mentioned the Fatui, and that Mika had been a key member on the expedition under Varka's direct command, his teammates quickly connected the dots, and a strange chain of logic emerged. Mika fought against Fatui? Mika might have fought against Fatui elites. Mika must have fought alongside the Grand Master and won a battle against the Fatui Harbinger. How else could he have become this strong all of a sudden? Mika's our hero. He can now do anything for us. Truth be told, Mika had simply acquired a great deal of experience. The other knights who had gone had also made progress to various extents. They simply had yet to return, and thus no valid comprehension could be made. Mika didn't know how to deal with all the absurd rumors, and so he consulted Jean and Kaya for advice. Jean informed the leader of each company to remain rational and refrain from spreading rumors based purely on speculation. Besides, many matters regarding the expedition were considered highly confidential and should be treated with discretion. Kaya, on the other hand, seemed to enjoy joking about the rumors. Members of the Knights of Favonius all more or less held some sort of dislike for the Fatui, and a rumor that says Mika gave the Fatui a good beating could very well boost morale. Whatever the case, Mika felt greatly reassured now that the acting Grand Master had been made aware of the situation and was confronted to know that he hadn't caused any trouble for anyone. He reported to duty as usual and made sure he did all he could to help others. But the exaggerated rumors couldn't be unspread, and Mika had found that gaining too much trust comes with his own fair share of difficulties. Recently, more knights have been coming up to him to borrow a new map, ask for help maintaining a weapon, or request a share of the reconnaissance company's field rations. All of them seem to hope that some of his powers might rub off on them so they can become stronger quickly just like him. An intricate book-shaped device Mika carries with him whenever he goes. It was developed by Mika and technicians from the investigation team, and its key components were made using Albedo's latest algorithm creations. A notebook is embedded in the device interior that can be used to record information, designed to facilitate the quick production and use of maps. Each of its pages can be conventionally removed and replaced. An elaborate pattern is carved onto the back panel of the device, channeling elemental power in the creative with active the prism-shaped component outside as panel, which will then turn a wave beam towards a fan-shaped target region. The distance between the device and the target region can then be accurately concluded using the time taken for the beam to bounce back. By increasing both the frequency and aperture of the beam, the device will generate a sketch of a small area of terrain. This function can greatly improve the accessory of a map, but regrettably everything else, including a statistical information and calculus regarding the terrain in question, has to be computed in the user's mind. Only those with excellent spiral reasoning skills and an extensive knowledge of the target terrain are capable of making full use of this function. Thus, Mika became the only frontline surveyor who could use the device without difficulty, and its overall usage rate is not very high. There had been other improved devices originally planned for distribution to other teams, but they have been put into storage to be used as spare parts for Mika's device. The device is Mika's trusted helper in his work and a symbol of honor for being the best surveyor. With Mika has never once mentioned its impressive features to others. To Mika, the feels too much like bragging, not to mention that it could potentially give Albedo extra work. Troubling others is the last thing Mika ever wants, after all. Mika was once in a life-or-death situation. This was not long after he joined the reconnaissance company. The information on a certain area was no longer valid, and Mika had taken up the task to update the details of his terrain on his own. He slowly crept into the ruins, only to accidentally knock off a piece of stone from the broken wall, alerting two abyss mages lurking in the dark. As the flames intertwined, a rush of elemental power instantly engulfed him, as if it was about to crash him into pieces and turn him into the monster's next meal. Pain and panic flooded his senses, and only one thought remained in his consciousness. He needed to escape and warn the others. These monsters, they've been a threat to even the most experienced members in the company. It was the responsibility of the frontline surveyor to keep their teammates from dangerous situations like this. The Abyss Mages smirked in glee and were about to command other monsters to come out of hiding when a spring spear toward a curtain of flames apart. An icy mist burst across the ruins, clearing the unbearable heat in an instant. When the Abyss Mages finally made sense of the situation, Mika had already fled far away, though still apologizing loudly enough for the monster to hear. "I'm sorry, I'll remember to knock before entering next time. That way my seniors can fight you fair and square." Next time soon came. The reconnaissance company's main force was notified of the monsters and swiftly but cautiously eliminated the threat. They were surprised to find that both the Abyss Mage's shields had already become quite badly battered, and gazing upon the vigilant glow from the vision on Mika's right wrist, they seemed to realize something. That day, the reconnaissance company dinner was especially sumptuous. Eventually, everyone raised their glass to celebrate, while Mika himself seemed to be in shock, unable to wrap his head around what just happened. Mika's name has many origins and meanings from all the way to Hungarian, Japanese, and Russian, and is both a boy and girl name. Judging that Mondstadt has a medieval German theme, it's most likely his name derives from Central European regions, mostly where either Germany or Hungary. If his name is the one from German origin, his name means who is like God. And it's also a short form of Mikael, which is a version of the name Michael that comes from Finland but was popular in Germany and the Netherlands. And since Mondstadt is based on more German origins, this would help make Mika's name reference to the German meaning for his name. Mika's name can also mean beautiful fragrance. His last name, Schmidt, is a German surname, again with Mondstadt having a German theme. The surname coming from the German word Schmied means blacksmith and or metal worker. It's also the German equivalent of smith in the English speaking. And finally, his constellation's name, Columbus, is a Latin word like most constellations in Genshin Impact, and for Mika, it means wood pigeon, and can show Mika's bird theme, I guess, which I've seen be referenced by his character by other fans of the Genshin Impact. Although if I'm wrong, correct me. But that's just my take on Mika's name, although etymology, since there isn't any clear answer from the wiki forum, where I get my sources to make Mika's character info and yada yada yada, all the other character info for Genshin Impact. Fact 1. Mika's dialogue in the event story quest Waterborne Poetry Part 3, Heart of the Deep, strongly suggests that the Schmidt family is from Springvale, having extensively indicated with Old French over time like a local would. There is no apparent reason otherwise for why Mika would be in Springvale while he was studying calligraphy. Fact 2. The name of the projectile Mika fires in the hold version of his elemental skill, the Ramstar Flare, may be from the name Pusher of the Rhymestar from Honkai Impact 3rd, though this is only true in the English localization of the game. The name of his elemental skill, Star Frost Swirl, is dramatically similar to Ramstar. And that's Mika. We're gonna go one more time to Leeway before we are moving on to some mirror characters, and we'll talk about the Medicine Man, Beizu. Now, for anyone who's seen Yaoyao's character info, may wonder why didn't I talk about Beizu before Mika. Well, okay, I did admit I forgot Beizu finally became a playable character, and it's my decision, and I felt like doing it now, and I have a list in order to follow about the videos I make, so yeah. With Beizu's video being the last Genshin character info of 2023, according to my calculations, so forth. Anyways, now you know. Like, you don't need to. So, see you next time. Bye.